Hey there, how's it going? It's a rainy night in the bungalow. I'm hoping this fire keeps the mosquitoes away. But there's something that's been weighing heavy on my mind lately. For example, if you have certain friends, or in other words, you have people in your life that you call friends, ask yourself, how do these people react to any shred of conflict? Are there people you know that would suddenly treat you differently because they heard something about you from someone else? Are there people you know that would cut you off or avoid you because they had a problem with something that they didn't want to communicate with you about? If you have people in your life that you call friends, and they want to cut you off or throw you under the bus or make assumptions about you based on whatever, there's a question you can always ask yourself regarding conflict among peers. And I use the word peers, not friends, because anybody can claim to be your friend, right? But there's always going to come a time where that status gets seriously challenged and you find out who your real friends are. But this question you can always ask yourself is, did they get your side of the story? If someone wants to cut you off or someone wants to talk bad about you behind your back but doesn't want to talk to you about it directly, or someone wants to change their perception of you based on what someone else says, then ask yourself, did they get your side of the story? Because if the answer is yes, and they still don't accept you for who you are, and they still don't have a desire to work it out, then that's okay. That's completely okay. At least you know that your side was heard. At least you know your side was heard. At least you know that you got to speak your mind and say your part. Because at the end of the day, that's all you can do, right? But if the answer to that question is no, and they did not get your side of the story, then that should tell you everything you need to know about this person or these people. If you lose somebody because they cut you off when they didn't get your side of the story, you didn't actually lose them. They were never friends in the first place. They were never your friends in the first place. And they showed their true colors by jumping to their conclusions without hearing your side of the story. And you didn't lose anything, but instead you gained something. You gained the knowledge on what to watch out for, and you have a better understanding on the kind of friend that you want to be in the future. I mean, unresolved issues among peers lead to avoidant behaviors, resentment, and even cutting people off to avoid difficult conversations. It's a sad truth that a lot of people would rather cut you off than have difficult conversations because it's simply easier. Because surprisingly enough, doing what's easy is surprisingly easier than putting in the effort to do what's right. Even if you've known someone for years, right? Even then, so many people will still choose to cut you off instead of hearing your side of the story. And if you have friends that are terrified of any sort of confrontation, be careful. Be very careful. Because those same friends will likely not want any kind of confrontation with you if you were to ever have a problem together that needed to be resolved. They probably won't want any part of any kind of confrontation with you either, if you were to ever have a problem that needed to be resolved, right? There's a lot of snakes out there, man, posing as your friends. They don't know themselves. They don't stand for anything, so therefore they fall for everything. A lot of snakes out there, man, so watch where you step, both online and in person. If you're ever upset that someone cut you off, if you ever feel like you've been stabbed in the back or betrayed by somebody, ask yourself, did they ever even take the time to get your side of the story? It's a very important question to ask because your voice matters just as much as theirs does. And I believe that's all I have to say about it. Just wanted to get this off my chest. Have a great night.